Yeah. So is it time yet? I think people may have seen that last year. Um,
Hmm.
it's a book that I actually put out last year, and I should have done this a little bit differently here, but I'm just going to open up the book for people to see. Um, and it's a book, as Tony was saying earlier about um, seeing the whole story of the Bible. It's a book that literally does that. It walks you through the story of redemption um, from December 1 through 25. So you start with, an overview of the story of who God is, creation, fall, Noah, Tower of Babel. So it kind of walks you through the story up through the birth of Christ, and then the crucifixion. One really unique thing with this book is my friend who did the illustrations just blew me away with the illustrations on this, honestly. Here's our creation story and just the details that she included in there. But I made a point in the story each day to include like a kind of a point at the end, like, well, is it time yet? Well, no, it's not time yet because the world is still perfect. Sin hasn't come. But as we walk through the story, you start seeing hints. So here we have Abraham and Sarah and Isaac. And then, is it time yet? Not yet. Isaac was the start of God fulfilling his promises to Abraham, but the real fulfillment was still to come through another baby who would be born into Abraham's family. So you start seeing those little hints of Christ. So this is the storybook part of the whole "Is it time yet" family, I guess. I'm going to go all the way to the end here. But what happens along with this story, the book this year is only going to be, well, Tony and I need to talk about this a little bit as well, but for the most part, the book is available on Amazon.
Amazon,
But
yes.
there is a way of us getting some discounts if people want bulk copies of the book. Whereas as the author, I can order and send them to you. So we need to figure out how to get that on there. But
Yeah.
for the most part, the book is available on Amazon. But even without the book, there are some digital files available on the Sunday School store that kind of make it doable without the book. As much as an author, I would love you to buy my book. You don't have to. So in the coloring book, which is available online, you actually have hints of what's in the book. You have all the same artwork with then like activity pages that go along with it. So that, as a parent or as a teacher, you could take these. I mean, these are familiar stories. We know the story. You could take these pages and tell the story yourself using these coloring and activity pages. And then, and I don't know that I pulled it up here. I don't think I have it. But Tony, when you open up the Sunday School store, if you can show the family worship guide, because that's also available on the Sunday School store. It's free if you buy the book, but it's also something you could send out to your families. As children's ministry, you could send those out to your parents and say like, hey, do these activities with this coloring page, and it'll give you the same thing. So, encourage your families to buy my book. I would love that. Or, there's some other ways to work around it. But on top of the book, again, we have curriculum. So we have another 4-week series set up the same as all my other curriculum with the large group and small group. And this walks us through the storyline. So is it time yet? Jesus came at just the right time. Is it time yet? A promised baby, looking at Isaac. Is it time yet? Promises and prophecies, looking at Isaiah. And then is it time yet? Jesus is here, the actual birth. So again, this is a way to build up to Christmas with a 4-week curriculum in the same format that you've all gotten used to. And Tony, you are right. My graphic skills have gotten better in the last year. I was looking back at this and I'm like,
you're like, oh, wait a second.
I should really work on this one.
Well,
So
we need to schedule everything for it. We'll do a 2-year update on everything we have. So next year we'll have to go through it. I'll be like, Bethany, let's update this because we've come a long way. The Sunday School store was, and this is we were just talking about this the other day. how God really worked this out. Because of the pandemic, I had enough downtime in my life. I said, we've talked about launching the store and let's do it. And then Bethany was like, okay, I'm ready.
I mean, I think you and I have been talking about this for about 4 years, maybe.
Well, I always,
It's been a while.
and the series we would publish your stuff on ministry to children, and there it was just so rich and in depth. And I said, Bethany, this is people want to buy this. This is not free Sunday school lessons you download off the internet. Of course, they're there. We're not taking them down. They're still there. But the but being able to put it in the PDF format, being able to integrate all those graphics, giving you the time to go back and review. This is not stuff you just sat down and wrote last night when you drank a Coke before bed. This is stuff you wrote back in the trenches of ministry, and you've updated, and your friends have taught, and so
it's
yeah, this
multiple times.
Yeah. So this is, I always say, when people say, "How does Bethany have so much content in this Sunday school?" And I said, "Well, she's taught it multiple times, and she keeps getting new ideas, and she adds it. So everything we try to publish is more than enough." So you pick what's going to resonate best with your audience, with your kids, with your church, or you stretch it out and do it on Sunday and Wednesday is what I would do, because I believe in reinforcement. But it depends on your setting in ministry. So here's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to, if you're doing, is it time yet? You get the family worship guides, and you just buy that once, and you have permission to send that to all the families in your church, or print it at the church copier or whatever. And that's great. And then you teach the series, and then you do breakfast in Bethlehem, Bethany's breakfast in Bethlehem. And if you're ambitious, you squeeze in the who is Jesus before and after, and you've got an 8-week Advent.
I mean, you could do Christmas from like next week until January, and that's good for me. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, we just spend a lot on decorations, and I feel sad when we put them away. I think that was a lot of work. So, all right.
Exactly.
So that is, let me bring up the store and make sure we're all on the same page. And
and if you bring up the store and can show the family worship guide.
Let me go down to so here's the curriculum. Is it time yet? 4-week curriculum. And this is beautiful. I mean, I love the Christmas colors though, because red is one of my favorite, but
Dee Dee did an excellent job with that. So I think it's
so here's here's the coloring book. And we're still going to keep the PDF? Is that right, Bethany?
The ebook,
You didn't have to give up that license.
The ebook is available.
Okay, so
now the ebook, I would say, is not something that would be like buy it and share with everybody in your church. But I think the coloring book and the family worship guide, we have given that permission. So
okay, so the ebook works great on an iPad. Me and my daughter did some of it on the iPad last year. It looks great on an iPad. So that's an option if you're not a printed book person, but by all means get it on Amazon, and they've got better shipping than we have it anyway. So
and I mean, if churches are wanting to buy a bulk order of the book, we don't have the hardcover books that I'm like distributing myself this year. But we do have, it's a soft cover one from Amazon, and I need to work out the details on it, but we can easily set up a page where people can like order through us, and then I can send it in bulk orders. And the Spanish version is available as well.
I forgot you had that. Somebody was asking me for Spanish stuff the other day, and I said, we don't have much, but I forgot you had that. So
that first one is if anyone's interested in a cookbook, I'll have one of those on there.
Do you have
so I think the price, it's not on Kindle, because Kindle doesn't allow you to then sell your own ebook. And I wanted us to be able to sell the ebook ourselves. But so you have, it's what, $13.49, I think, is the paperback. But I need to look at the details. But, I want to say that if somebody wanted a bulk order, we could easily do them for probably $8 each. And then they would just be sent through Amazon. So, that's something we need to look at, setting that up as well. So
Yeah,
there's
and
definitely an opportunity for that.
so in the meantime, I'll tell people email Bethany at Sunday School Store,
Yeah,
and we can get that worked out.
yeah.
So we were looking at the
family worship guide.
did I pass it? Here it is, family worship guide. So you've got it marked for each day.
If you buy the book, either the ebook or the book from Amazon, you'll have a code where you can download this for free. But if you look at this, it's got scripture reading, discussion questions. Look at the picture, which the picture is in the coloring book as well. So if you don't have the book, I would at least do the family worship guide and the coloring book. And then it's got a younger kids activity and an older kids activity. So, if you're on a really serious budget as a church, this is a curriculum in and of itself. You could walk through, this is a 25-week curriculum basically with this in the coloring book. For our really small churches with no budget, there's so many ways you can use these materials, and our goal is to get the gospel out there. So I think there's definitely ways this can be done. You can share this with your church and things like that. So
yeah, and that's a great. I hadn't thought of that, but so this is 25 days, this is basically, these are the same, outline the curriculum has. You have your discussion, you have this Bible story, you have application time, you have the activities. Yeah, that would be great, because this is not just, we call it a Christmas thing, right? But you're going through the whole Bible, showing the big storyline of how God is saving the world, from Genesis all the way to Revelation, right? We get to Revelation.
Right.
Don't say I'm wrong.
Not to Revelation, just to the cross.
Okay, we get to the
resurrection.
Cross. Resurrection. Okay.
Yeah, cross and resurrection. Yeah.
So, and I like the way you're.
Definitely creation of cross.
And this is kind of off, but I would take these icons and I would make a wall in my. I would do a wall in my my room to have the visual reference to. I know everybody likes PowerPoint, but I still like sticking things on the wall with two-sided tape. You
can change things up more often that way.
So we've got.
I think there's plenty of options for Christmas this year.
That's right.
Of just to really, whatever is going to